we good? Are we on? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Do I need to push it up?
Push it up.
Yeah. There's no red light in that now. Hello and welcome to the Examiner's coverage of the 2020 Cork Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship and a much anticipated local skirmish ahead of us here in Riverstick with near neighbours Ballinhassig and Valley Rovers going head to head. Match coverage brought to you in association with Coop Superstores. Des Curran delighted to be alongside a 6-time county senior champion, I think it is, 3-time All-Ireland winner Ger Cunningham, who's licking his wounds after last night. The Bars ran into the Glen and just came up second best, Ger.
Yeah, disappointing, Des. We are last night in the Park of Keeve. We were second best all through the match. Really, like we had, we struggled and maybe had a chance when the Glen had Rob sent off and maybe we should have pushed on. Like, but early doors in the second half, the goal straight after half time gave the Glen a bit of breathing space, and we struggled all through, and we were out hurled last night completely. Glen were very impressive, played really well. So it all comes down to next Sunday for us against the PIHC in Park Ring. So
yeah, for all the teams, it's going to be interesting to see how they react after the shutdown, after what training they could have done, what challenge games, and now the games coming thick and fast.
Yeah, it is a challenge. It's big time, because I think people weren't sure. I'd say a lot of people didn't think there'd be many games this time of the year, so maybe some people might have been caught unaware. So, they're, as you say, they come thick and fast, and even today, like a local derby between two great clubs here. I think it's very important to get momentum in this competition, because if you lose your first or second one, you're under pressure straight away. So I think even today both of these teams will be looking for a bit of to look to win today to give them a chance to progress, because I think if you lose the first one, you're on the back foot. They're all knockout then. Yeah,
we saw a couple of big performances at this level last night. This is the third tier, we should say. So you win this, you step up to Senior A hurling next year. We saw Blarney with a big win last night. I think you were at that one. Carrigaline beating Courcey Rovers as well.
Yeah, 2 big scores. Blarney very impressive, scored 123 and in a local derby against Inniscarra, their neighbours. They played really well in the second half. Nothing much between the two of them in the first half. Blarney opened up, really pulled away in the second half, got some great scores, and Shane Barrett got a goal in with about a quarter to go, and that was really it. I didn't, just got the score from the other game in Carrigaline against Courcey's. That was a very impressive win. Scored 26 points. That's a good omen for Carrigaline, and they'll be looking forward to playing ahead of next week. Yeah.
What about today then? How do you read this one? Because it's a fantastic fixture for these two. They're separated by about 15 minutes drive or something like that. Recent history, Valley have won the last 2 meetings of the two. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, it's very hard to call. Again, the first match out. Again, people are trying to find their way. I said the other night, you don't have any league matches or no form to look at other than playing challenge matches against different teams and seeing where you're at. Ballinhassig, I would say the fact that they seem to be, they're very much focused on hurling days compared to Valleys, who have got a difficult job playing football. Week in, hurling, week out. That is that's very tough. They played Nemo last weekend, and a lot of focus would have been on that. And there's 6 or 8 of their players who play both. So for them to turn around and come out today in a local derby, it's a great way in one sense, to get motivated. Playing your neighbours is ideal. So it'd be interesting to see how they'll go. They've a new coach, Dave Bennett from Waterford. Be interesting to see what he brings to the table for them. But again, just be interesting to see the fact of playing football last week and then maybe only 2 or 3 sessions this week to as before today. So I'd say maybe slight odds in favour of Ballinhassig because they're effective. They might have more time to prepare. Yeah, I had a quick check through there. I think out of the 24 panel today, there's at least, by my reckoning anyway, a dozen of those Valley Rovers lads were involved, and most of them playing a full game against Nemo Rangers last week. So we'll wait and see how they react. One big piece of news on the Valley Rovers side is Kevin Canty, one of their big dual players, one of their experienced players, one of their best players, isn't involved with the hurlers today. Now whether that's because he's concentrating on the football, that might be the case just for the first couple of rounds. But he won't be featuring today one way or the other. Yeah, I think that's a big blow to Valley Rovers. I think Kevin had been one of their main players for the last number of years. A guy with intercounty experience at this level is to have him on your books is great. I think it's only kind of recent news that he's decided to concentrate on football after the match last weekend. So he's got he's a big loss. It's obviously he's made a call. Kevin is maybe early 30s now at this stage and playing senior football. He played midfield last week. That's a tough ask to go out and play 60, 65 minutes, and so maybe talking to Chris O'Donovan there, and Chris is selected with Valley Rovers, and maybe they're hoping that they might see him before the year's out. Yeah.
Ballinhassig's point of view, disappointing last year. They lost to, albeit Inniscarra and Blarney, both of whom made the semi-final, so they're looking for something better this year. And the big plus for them is there's some influential players, some big players, some key players back and available this year that they didn't have last year.
Yeah, I suppose if you look through the both lineouts, there's certainly more players with Ballinhassig that are sprinkled with intercounty experience. You know, you've got Patrick Collins in goal, and his brother Ger playing corner forward. His other brother Michael, again, would have played with Cork Intermediates and Cork Underage. Brendan Lombard would have played with Cork. You got Donegal Donovan would have played with Cork at different levels. Shane McCarthy would have played. So I think they have that sprinkling of experience and guys who would have played at a good level. So again, I think they would be very, very focused on. You know, they're a club of great tradition with great players over the years, and they're predominantly hurling club, and I think they'll be looking to get a good start today.
When we got the team sheets, I know you straight away went to the two number 6s, Ballinhassig's Donegal Donovan and Chris O'Leary, of course, who's on the Cork senior panel, had a great Fitzgibbon year a few years back with UCC as well. Yeah,
I think they're the two main players for both sides, two centre backs, so it'll be interesting to see how they can influence the game. Like Chris, over the last number of years, has been kind of used all over the pitch by Valley Rovers. He's played in the forward line. He's played as a third midfielder. He's been given a free rein, I think, over the last couple of years. But good to see him, I think, settle down into probably his best position in the half back line, and he'll be looking to dominate this game here today. I think watch out today for he's a great long range free taker, great striker of the ball. So his duel with Michael Collins will be very interesting. Michael just back from injury and probably won't be playing your typical centre forward role that he'll be moving around the place. So it'll be interesting to see how the tactics plan out as well.
And maybe another one to mention, Fintan O'Leary of Ballinhassig as well.
Yeah, Fintan again. Sorry, maybe we should include Fintan. He would have played at a high level, would have been in the Cork senior squad for a number of years. So he's been injured for a bit in the last number of years with a back or a shoulder problem. So, but again, on the day is can be a big handful. Big target man at the edge of the square, got a good hand. So if Fintan is on fire, like he'll be a big player for Ballinhassig.
Watergrass Hill and Ballincollig also in this group. They're also in action today. So how do you view the strength of that group overall if you're looking at the top two looking at progressing?
I'd say whoever wins today, I think will be looking seriously at topping the group. And I think so that the other one is wide open. You've got Ballincollig and Watergrass Hill. On any given day, any of these teams can beat each other. But I'd say whoever wins today would be looking at having the advantage of going forward to top the group over next week and building momentum to go into next week before the break.
Yeah, we're almost ready to go. The teams have split and are heading into their positions. It looks like Ballinhassig will be playing from left to right in this first half. There is a little bit of a breeze. The sun is beating down behind us. There was a suggestion there might be a little bit of rain on the way, but hopefully that won't be the case. We're in a nice lofty position right here on the halfway line, but a lack of cover. We could be in trouble if the rain does come down. But here we go. Referee about to get us underway. Straight away you can see Colin Reynolds has stepped into midfield for Ballinhassig. There's a hurl gun flying already, as you're expecting local derby action. And we are underway in Riverstick. Two neighbours, not much love lost between these two. And which will get the upper hand today? The little flick on. Runs in, the cornerback coming across to cover his own Delaney. Does well with his first involvement in the game. And now Mark O'Leary, brother of Chris. Mark playing at right half back, Chris centre half back. Huge clearance down the field. Ballinhassig have the numbers. The race is on to get there. Donegal Donovan, wild pull across. He's marking today is Jack Walsh, who's another to watch for Valley Rovers today. Very talented dual player, soccer player as well, Jack Walsh. But here's an opportunity in the early seconds for Valley Rovers to take the first point of the game.
Yeah, good start from a bit of skirmish at the start there. Hurleys flying around the place, a couple of hurleys broken already. So good start. The ball come up the pitch. Valley Rovers have a chance now for number 15, young Adam Butler, to put us over the bar. So in a fixture like this, you certainly want a settling early score, and if you're a free taker, you want one that's fairly routine and straightforward, and that's how it's proven for Colin Butler, and it's Valley Rovers who draw first blood. Patrick Collins, who's very much pushing Anthony Nash for that number 1 jersey for the Cork Senior Hurlers. One of the three Collins brothers in the team today. That one's dropping short. It's his opposite number, Dara Looney, who is playing his first ever competitive game in goal today. Willie Burke, the long-time goalkeeper for Valley Rovers, now retired. Dara Looney, his first touch was secure. That's a foul on Colin Reynolds. And
even with the reduced crowd, we can hear those who are in from Ballinhassig away to our right hand side, making themselves heard early on.
You're going to be fairly passionate here, local neighbours around the place. So even Nola Donovan there, who gave away the free, I think lives in Ballinhassig. So he'll be well motivated for this today. So interesting.
The lights off in the house tonight.
So interesting free now for Ger Collins again, who's another excellent goalkeeper, playing out the field with his brothers in goal. So good accurate striker. Not the easiest of frees for your first one. So we build his confidence here if we put this one over.
Interesting approach. Just dropping short though. Dara Looney got a fingertip to it, so out for a 65.
That was a dangerous ball going in there. It just looked to be just slightly off target, but it was crossbar height. Not an easy one for any keeper, and obviously Dara in making his debut in goal, did well to get his hand to it and put it up for 65. So a chance here now to draw level.
Donovan has come out to take this 65 from his centre half back position. A wisp of a breeze that seems to be going almost across the pitch over to that far side, maybe slightly favouring Ballinhassig in this first half. This is the opportunity to level matters up. We'll wait and see how he strikes this one, but the referee, there is a bit of attention being given to a Valley Rovers player in there, so we'll have to do this all over again.
This was a good start from him. He struck the ball really well, so it was an excellent score. So be interesting to see how the referee goes there. Mark Maher left the game on Friday night in Park Ring, and I think over the weekend a lot of people were looking at maybe in comparing some of the referee's performances at the game on TV, and on Friday night the game was certainly let go up in Kilkenny there was a lot less frees, so I think it'd be good for Cork if the referees kind of let the play flow a small bit more.
Donovan, former Cork intermediate hurler, and it's a lovely strike and all tied up. Valley Rovers a point, Ballinhassig a point. Let's see what the puck out strategy is from Dara Looney. He's going right into his half forward line where there's a collision of four bodies there. He'll scramble for possession, and coming out with it is Colin Reynolds. Ball into the half forward line. Lovely little dummy. Michael Collins, great to have him back. And he thinks it's good. Deemed to have gone to the right and wide, and Michael Collins protesting. He felt it was over.
They're certainly disputing that one. The two Collins brothers there went straight to Mark Maher, who was having none of it. The umpire was straight under the post, really, had just made a quick look, and hopefully they won't be disputing that at the end of the game.
Excellent work again from Donovan. Big, tall centre half back. Got up, batted the ball down. He had support around him as well. Here's an opportunity now for Simon O'Neill to work it forward. There's a little gap there for Richie Lombard if he can force his way through. Two Valley Rovers players. Referee was looking to allow the advantage. Gives the free. Richie Lombard, who's dogged by injuries in recent years, big presence in this team, and did well to earn his side the free here in a very scoreable position.
Yeah, interesting. Ger Collins as well is kind of not playing his typical corner forward as he's kind of coming in and playing in front of the D there, and there's a lot of ball going in there, and he's a guy obviously with being a goalkeeper would have a great first touch. So he set up the pass to Richie Lombard here, and he's a chance now to put him ahead.
Yeah, very clean strike that one. Certainly got plenty behind it. So from a point down to 2 points to 1 in front now, Ballinhassig. As Dara Looney changes the plan this time over towards this near side. Scramble for possession. John Cottrell wearing 10 for Valley Rovers, supported by William Hurley here. Ballinhassig have it back again. Michael Collins. Oh, it looks a super point. Outstanding score that from Michael Collins. And brother of Patrick and Ger has come back from 2 cruciate ligament injuries.
Excellent score from Michael there. There's of his kind of traditionally weaker side, he would be more of a left-sided player, but he's just back. He said the unfortunate to have 2 cruciates done and to recover from that is fair play. So he has started really well on Chris.
Good vision from James Reardon to pick out Simon O'Neill. This one to the right and wide. Good start though from Ballinhassig overall. Yeah,
they'll be happy with it. The first score went to Valley Rovers, but they seem to, there's plenty of movement in the puck outs, but they seem to be, their half back line seems to be dominant, and they're stopping the ball going through.
Valley Rovers, certainly hard for them to make headway at the moment, but they have it with the talented Jack Walsh now. That's 1-on-1 in there for the moment. Patrick Collins, very calm, zips the ball out to his half-back line, and now Ballinhassig look to play their way out. Heading towards halfway, Michael Collins gets on another ball again. A good scrambling from Valley Rovers, that time led by Noel O'Donovan, and O'Donovan in there on his hands and knees, scrapping for possession. No quarter after given, as you'd expect. And the work rate of Noel O'Donovan hailed by the Valley Rovers management and selectors down below us.
Yeah, it just gives a chance here to Chris O'Leary now to get a point back from them. Very hard to see it off camera, but Michael Collins is not playing your traditional centre forward role. He's kind of coming everywhere for puck outs and coming everywhere, and Chris is dropping deep in front of the big D in front of the about 25 metres out.
Should be well within range for Chris O'Leary, who's a fabulous long range free taker and showing his accuracy there. And something Ballinhassig will have to be wary of as well now, not to concede too many within the range of Chris O'Leary. Richie Lombard trying to get on it, leaves it to his teammate Simon O'Neill, pops it towards Lombard again. Chris O'Leary survives the challenge. Referee saw no advantage forthcoming, so back for the free to Valley Rovers, who are just starting to work their way back into it now after a decent period for Ballinhassig.
And this again, this is quite within Chris's range. It's the wind, any bit of breeze that's here today is with him. So he's known as a very good long range striker. So this be interesting to see if this goes within his range.
All Ireland intermediate winner with Cork, Fitzgibbon Cup winner, as we mentioned, with UCC. Very much in the Cork senior reckoning, and that's a good strike as well. It's drifting right though, and just a fraction to the right and wide from Chris O'Leary. There is, as we mentioned, a little bit of a breeze that seems to be going across the pitch, so that'll have to be taken into account as well. Pitch that looks in excellent condition. Great year at the moment to see pitches with games back up again, the
absolutely.
Condition that they're in.
Yeah, the condition, the pitches are absolutely, all the pitches all weekend were absolutely brilliant. It's great to see it and we have the pitches back, and great delivery there from Patrick Collins to find Rory O'Sullivan. Beautifully
plucked out of the sky by William Hurley though, and Chris O'Leary gets on another ball. Plenty of air on this one. Chance to cause some damage in that inside forward line. Good defending though initially from Chris Reynolds, just to make sure there was no clean catch from a man in the green and white hoops, and then drilled low by Conor Desmond, brother of team captain Michael. William Hurley pops it back again, and intelligence from Chris O'Leary just to step back into the pocket, knowing he can have a go from that range. One right and wide now, one left and wide. But he's always an option there, isn't he, Chris?
He is an option if they work the ball back, because obviously Michael Collins is not going to be too much near him. Like, Michael's going after the ball a bit. So if they work it back, you'll find it Chris. But it's a long range strike, Des, to find that distance. So hopefully he has one left and one right. So hopefully he'll improve in the next one.
Patrick Collins works it to Donegal O'Donovan. Lovely little side step. He's away from Jack Walsh. Gets the ball forward to Colin Reynolds. And some open green grass in front of Colin Reynolds here, and making full use of it. Pops the hand pass off, shooting chance, and another score for Ballinhassig, beautifully taken. Now they worked that well all the way from Patrick Collins up to get their shot away, and that extends the lead to 2 points now. The point taken by Fintan O'Leary, who could be a real danger man for them today.
Yeah, it was a good score from Fintan. He played off it, he came out loud looking for the pass, and off his right hand, and they got a nice score.
Over towards this near side, the bounce will hold up kindly. Richie Lombard trying to muscle his way beyond William Hurley, which he's managed to do, and still going Richie Lombard, and in his efforts to get there, it's a foul by John Cottrell, and another free to come for Ballinhassig.
Ballinhassig seem to be playing through the lines a bit more, so that's a bit more, rather than Valleys, who seem to be going a bit more direct. You can see, they're wanting to walk the ball out from the goalkeeper all the way to the half back line, and then maybe once it gets to the 45 metre line to go long. So chance here for Ger Collins now to increase their lead. Ger
Collins, just has come off the upright. That's a real chance gone a begging. Looked like it was going to drift just inside that left hand upright. Well, one you'd have expected him to score, Ger Collins. One he's left behind him. Here's Chris O'Leary, earns the free for Valley Rovers.
Yeah, he seemed to just pulled it a fraction, and he'll be disappointed with that one, Des, because that's quite within his range. You know what I mean? So he just that was a mischance.
In what we're expecting to be a very tight game as well, chances like that might have to be taken. It's down towards Owen O'Reilly, who hasn't really got any ball yet. The corner forward for Valley Rovers, James Reardon, one of the players who played in the 14 junior county final for Ballinhassig. Had their peak years really winning a junior championship in 2002 and working their way up from there. And his eye is certainly in today, Richie Lombard.
Excellent score, Des. Ball broke down on his right side from a difficult angle out in the sideline. Lovely score from Richie Lombard.
Ballinhassig, who won the intermediate in 05, had 6 good years of senior hurling before losing, I think, a 1-point game to Bishopstown to send them down. Came back up, went back down again. But a chance, as we said, for teams in this division now to work their way up to Senior A. We saw the likes of Canturk coming up. We've seen Father O'Neill's come up impressively last year. Charleville have been making strides up through the divisions as well. Yeah,
it's when you get a bit of momentum, it's, you drive on, and you're playing at a higher standard all the time, and it means you have to train probably that bit harder. But players get motivated by that, But I thought that was a very harsh free. Des, the ball came in and just a little push in the back. I think things like that can be left go. You'd like to see it. Let the game flow as if possible. There's certainly, when there's freeze. But something like the technical little push in the back, you'd like to see the game go a bit more.
So here he steps up to a beautiful strike, right between the posts and over the black spot. Chris O'Leary. It's another score for the Cork senior man, and it reduces the Ballinhassig lead down to a couple of points now. Patrick Collins out towards the right half forward position, and Michael Collins has gone off and chased his brother. Tangle for possession, and that looked a little bit high from William Hurley. Catching Michael Collins. And it's hard not to get wrapped up in a game like this, isn't it?
It's just a local derby like this. It attacks the physicality element of it, but you need to be disciplined when, if both teams nowadays have good free takers, you don't want to lose the game to free takers in that kind of situation. So Gerard's back to where he was from his first free, out in front of us here. Difficult free again. He'll be looking to make amends for the last one.
And the breeze just seems to be picking up a little bit as well. It might be aiding him from this angle and from this position. Interesting, you can hear the opposition, all the chat that's going on around these frees, just trying to put him off, and maybe they succeeded. That's gone right and wide. Whereas normally when you have the crowd, Ger, I guess the players mightn't hear what the opposition are saying, or at least the ones that aren't exactly right next to them. But you can certainly hear everything in these circumstances.
Absolutely. Still, any guys at free takers nowadays will be well used to all these distractions of people, having a go and shout. But if you're fully focused, it shouldn't make a difference.
Picked up by Joe Lynch, brother of David, fullback and captain. Big high dropping ball down towards Adam Keneally, the 19-year-old, just his second year playing intermediate hurling. Uncle Pat won a senior county with Carberry back in '94, former Cork man. This one from a long way out is dropping short, and Dara Looney's coming for it, and Dara Looney's lost it. We'll do a little bit of support now. His full back line is there to cover. Dara Looney's still in the thick of it, so looks like Chris O'Leary, Chris O'Leary's dropped back into goal for the moment. It's Chris O'Leary actually coming out with it, and now works it out to the right hand side. And a chance to run here. Plenty of pace. Pops off the hand pass, shooting opportunity for John Cottrell after good work by Rory O'Sullivan. And the Valley Rovers bench on their feet out in the pitch, not happy with that tackle. Bit of a wild pull from Colin Reynolds.
We're in trouble here with a yellow card, I'd say the referee, quite rightly. It was a bit of a high tackle, so interesting. He's writing something now, but I'm not sure is he going to flash the yellow card. Gives Chris a chance now to put a point between the teams.
It is going to be interesting when we get into the last quarter of this one. All those Valley Rovers players who played football, not just football, senior football against Nemo last week, how the legs will be feeling. Give Nemo a good run for it as well. Chris O'Leary keeps this one low. Lovely clean strike again. And they continue to chip away at that Ballinhassig lead.
What a break, I think this.
So a chance to reflect on the opening stages. Valley Rovers got the opening point. Ballinhassig seemed to take over a bit after that, but a 1 point game at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, probably Ballinhassig might be a bit disappointed. They maybe feel they're only a point ahead, but Jer has missed 2 frees that he normally you'd expect him to get, and if he had them, there'd be 3 in it. Like, I think Ballinhassig have started well, and they seem to be well structured in how they're trying to play the game and have a good plan. Obviously Valley is much more direct, have scored 5 and Chris has got 3 from frees, so I suppose the water break does give you a chance to maybe settle down for a minute to see. You can just kind of see how the first quarter of an hour has gone. Not a huge fan of it, I must say. I think it just breaks the momentum of the game, but once if the frees implement just a minute and keep it going, it's fine, but some referees let it go and you're there for 3 or 4 minutes before we go again.
I think if you're the side on the up, you certainly don't want it. If you're the side maybe that's struggling a little bit, there's maybe a chance just to take a little breather and have a chat with the manager and the selectors, just have a word, see if they can tinker a few things.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? I suppose you come into the game again not knowing the form or your own form or the opposition. It kind of gives you a chance to look at the setups and see how the opposition is kind of have set up and see if there's anything you can do. But the game's only on 15 minutes and we're stopped again for another team talk. So I'm just saying, I just think it's hard to get a game now is 4 quarters. It's just I think I would much prefer to see let the play flow. Okay, I understand why they have to do it, but be interesting to see will it be something that they'll keep going when hopefully when this is over.
2 recent meetings of Ballinhassig and Valley Rovers were in the 15 Premier Intermediate semi-final. Valley Rovers won it by 2 points, but went on to lose the final against Newcestown. The 2018 quarter-final 2 years ago, Valley Rovers won that one handy by 11 points. So Ballinhassig with those games, no doubt, I'd imagine they may have been mentioned in the lead into this one. Certainly there'd been a lot of players who would have played in them. Certainly the 2018 fixture. Yeah,
and I suppose looking at the results last year, Ballinhassig didn't really have a great year last year. Like, I think they played a couple of games and weren't successful in any championship game. So I think this game is very important for them to kind of try to turn things around from the point of view of getting momentum and getting a bit of confidence behind them. To lose the first one, that'll be all of a sudden now you're looking at going next week then in a knockout game. So I think it's a very, very important game for Ballinhassig and maybe for both clubs today.
Valley Rovers quarter-finalists last year. They lost to Kilworth, rebounded to beat Cloyne and Ballincollig before running into a very good Blarney side. Did reach the final, as we said, in 2015. Last 10 years, 1 final, 1 semi-final, 6 times out in the quarter-finals. They'll be hoping that this could be a big year for them. But as we said, they have to handle that dual situation. Here's a chance for Fintan O'Leary. And the umpire's advised it's going wide, and he concurs, and the puck out taken quickly. Good thinking from Dara Looney. Great working back, and the hook is an effective one from Richie Lombard. And that might offer a shooting opportunity here. Instead, it's a ball drilled in low by Colin Reynolds towards Fintan O'Leary. But on the firm turf, it runs away. Back to Dara Looney again. And the 2 number 10s in collision here, Colin Reynolds and John Cottrell. Trying to get his hand pass away. And then a snapshot taken by Colin Reynolds. And that's a close run thing. And this one is squeezing just inside that left-hand post. Well taken score from Colin Reynolds.
Yeah, they did well. The half-forward line from Ballinhassig worked very hard to turn the ball over, and maybe a bit of a hit and hope shot, but squeezed just inside the post.
The call is to pull first time, and Conor Desmond obliged. Comes back again to Richie Lombard in towards that full forward line. Beaten away well by David Lynch, who's trying to get close again. And that from a tight angle is just gone across the goal and wide. David Lynch, full back today, the captain, 15th year playing at the senior level here for Valley Rovers, full back against Nemo Rangers last week. So a man who knows how to play full back in both codes.
Yeah, very experienced campaigner. He'll be well settled inside the full back line, and he probably would have marked Fintan before, another fellow who'd been around a long time as well. So that's one to keep an eye on.
Patrick Collins to take this. Gets plenty behind it. Dangerous ball dropping right in there on top of Dara Looney, who just got it stuck under his feet for a minute, and it's in the back of the nets. That was a dangerous ball dropped in by Patrick Collins. Is it Fintan O'Leary, I think, who's got the goal?
Yeah, Fintan got the goal. The ball broke. The keeper Dara went to rise the ball, but Fintan did really well. Just got the hurry to it, flicked it in, a real poacher's goal, and I think it's probably no more than they deserved. Des, I think they've been in top like for the first 20 minutes of the game, and they'll be happy now to have got that goal.
Yeah, it was an awkward one for Darragh Looney. There were bodies backing in on top of him, and when the ball broke, just seemed to get it stuck under his feet. Tried to get it up and get it away, but a great piece of poaching from Fintan O'Leary. Here's a chance at the other end though, and a Jack Walsh bearing down in goal. Jack Walsh for Valley Rovers, and a brilliant piece of defending by Michael Desmond.
Absolutely great chance there, he broke through, but Michael Desmond, absolutely really fantastic play from the corner back, came across and a brilliant block, and there was a real chance to get to respond straight away. Would have been a great opportunity for Valleys to get back into the game straight away. They still have a 65 to come from it, but they'll be looking at it as a missed chance.
Captain stuff. Michael Desmond leading by example, got across, looked for all the world like Jack Walsh was going to billow the back of the net of Patrick Collins there. A superb piece of defending, almost an instant reply from Valley Rovers, but as it stands it's Valley Rovers 4 points, Ballinhassig 1-6, so a 5-point advantage for Ballinhassig. We'll be very happy with how this first half has gone. Well, Chris O'Leary standing over the 65 now, a chance to reduce that deficit down to 4.
Excellent strike again from Chris, split the post, great strike over the bar. That's a good response.
Chris O'Leary, I think that's 3 points now, is it he's on to?
That's 4. Yeah, he's 4, yeah. He's 4.
4 of Valley Rovers 5, coming from their influential number 6. A good idea on the puck out, and a good positioning from Simon O'Neill right over on that far sideline, but it looks like he maybe took a step over as he fielded that ball.
Not sure what happened with the linesman. He must put his flag up at a pin.
I think Darragh Looney, the Valley Rovers goalkeeper, is down with an injury, so the referee's attention has been drawn to that.
But a pinpoint puck out from Patrick Collins, hit 60, 70, 80 yards right on the sideline to Simon O'Neill, who caught a great ball.
Pretty strong position that Cork are in when you've Anthony Nash and Patrick Collins vying for that position.
Yeah, has been the two excellent. Patrick has played underage for Cork, played 4 years under 21, and has had to be patient to get his chance even at club level. He's been sub to Martin Coven for a number of years here as well. Martin would have played here, so with his excellent goalkeeper, his younger brother's playing corner forward because he can't get his game in goal. So and there's another brother, Matt in Dublin, who's in goal with Kilmacud. So there's and their sister plays camogie for Cork. So that's a real sporting and hurling camogie household.
Normally when you're poking around at the back you can't get a goalkeeper, but she's the Collins household, that was the place to be, wasn't it?
Absolutely, they're all goalkeepers, and Michael there as well now playing centre forward today, so it's a big day for the Collins household today.
Talking to the goalkeeper of all goalkeepers here alongside me, so you obviously have an interest in how these guys are developing their careers, and you'd have had an eye on them for many a year. Yeah,
I've been watching Patrick, involved with coaching him over the years, and he's they're top class, they're very dedicated guys. Even there's an unusual situation that we have 3 keepers in at the moment, and the 2 Collins brothers are there with us, so at some stage in the future you'd imagine that the 2 Collins brothers could be vying for who's going to be in goal, which is very 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 unusual, but they're great lads. They're very dedicated, they love the game, and unfortunately they have to be patient at times, which is part of the game, and that's what it is. And
it's a position, George, is becoming increasingly influential in the last few years.
Well, the way the game's gone, both the puck outs became a huge part of it now. In the past, you would, when you're training, a lot of it would be shot stopping or catching or rebounding, or an awful lot of time now was spending on puck outs. And I know these lads would spend a lot of time themselves away from the the collective training that they would do, working on their puck outs, because I suppose when you have 30 plus puck outs a game on average, being able to get the ball, it gives you a great opportunity to keep possession. So it has become really, really important over the last number of years.
Certainly not easy at senior level with all the analysis that's gone on now and the dissection of various puck out strategies. So you're always trying to invent and come up with something new, I guess.
Yeah, that's very true. So even here today, a lot of movement here from Ballinhassig, when you have someone like Patrick, who's so good, it gives you a great option to be able to puck the ball to.
And out over towards that far side again, but Mark O'Leary is physically imposing as his brother Chris in at centre half back. He rose to bat that one away.
The O'Learys are 2 big men, and they mark at right half back, as he looks even taller than Chris. He's a huge player.
Now sideline cut for Ballinhassig and these beautiful weather conditions here in Riverstick, and it's beautifully connected with as well. And towards Charlie Granger, the youngster. Mark O'Leary gets turned, pops it inside to his cornerback Owen Delaney, and now Valley Rovers look to get moving again. Up that far side. Ron O'Reilly was challenging for it, couldn't secure possession though, and Ballinhassig looking to thunder out of defence and into midfield. Big collision there as Jack Walsh is met by a blue jersey either side of him. David Lynch popping up in the half back line, advised the hook was coming in from behind and managed to get the ball forward. Picked up though by Donnchadh O'Donovan, and he's under pressure now. Not a second to breathe in possession at the moment for any man on either side, and Ballinhassig emerge with it. Here's an opportunity now to start looking forward, and it's Simon O'Neill into the right corner. Oh, and Gerard Collins was coming to meet that, and he was met in unceremonious fashion by William Hurley.
I think that was Charlie Granger wearing. I think they've swapped the numbers. Yeah,
yes,
Charlie
Granger
Granger is down. You know, his first touch ball broke up off his Hurley up into the air, and just to tackle, there was no, you know, there was nothing in the tackle. I think he got the brunt of it, unfortunately.
At Kinsale Community School, Charlie Granger, nephew of the former Ballinhassig goalkeeper Diarmuid Coleman. The Coleman's a famous name down in these parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Just mentioned Martin there a while ago. Martin, I think, was involved with the team last year, and has been involved in coaching with Ballinhassig for a long number of years as well as playing. But I think they've had a new baby there recently, and I think he stepped back from being actively involved. But no doubt, probably see him here today at some stage. I think Ballinhassig's defence has been really impressive, Des, as well. They're tough and they're resolute and they're tight, and they've put the shackles on the Valley's forwards at the moment.
And Chris O'Leary, you could see the idea, but it was read by Conor Desmond. And that's not the greatest of balls, but they've made something of it. Donnchadh O'Donovan off his left-hand side, lovely ball over to that far side. Loads of time and space here for Michael Collins. It's already been on the score sheet. This is too far out though, so he'll angle one across over towards this near corner. Over the head though of Charlie Granger, or of Ger Collins rather.
That was one I was probably practicing in the back garden. I said Michael trying to find his brother Ger coming from with an angled run, but just a bit too high for him.
The big back garden then, I'm guessing. Real tangle for possession over on this near side. Noel O'Donovan trying to halt the run of Colin Reynolds. Another ruck forms, referee having a good look at it. And eventually it's James Reardon who comes out with it. And then Chris O'Leary out towards that far side. Plenty of space. And Colin Butler racing to try and get there. Beaten to it by his marker. It's picked up by Mark O'Leary. Looks for the big switch of play over towards this left corner forward position. Valley Rovers man is out first and in front, and the shout is to take him on. And Owen O'Reilly comes back though towards John Cottrell. John Cottrell, tight angle, likes it. Really
score.
Likes it, and why not? John Cottrell off the mark for the day.
Yeah, great ball in across from Mark O'Leary. Found Owen O'Reilly in space with a very good crossfield ball. As you said, the shout on the side end here was to take him on, but he was well marshalled by Michael Desmond, who stood off and passed it back to John Cottrell, and off his left hand. Really nice score over the bar.
Very good team score that from Valley Rovers, who worked their way right up from their own full back line. And the deficit back to a goal. 6 points in favour of Ballinhassig. The goal coming from Fintan O'Leary. That's what separates these two at the moment, as David Lynch launches one forward. Colin Butler, not the biggest in that full forward line, not the type of ball you'd imagine that he would thrive on. High ball in like that. Now the race is on, and the race is won by Charlie Granger, but now he's trying to get the ball up on his stick. Valley Rovers players swarming around him, and it's Valley who come out with the ball, and here's Chris O'Leary again. Launches it long. Patrick Collins keeping a good eye on this in case it might run through to him. Excellent vigilant defending by his captain though, Michael Desmond, and Desmond puts boot the ball and kicks it away. Worked on again from one end to the other. Good tempo to the game here in Riverstick. And here's a shooting opportunity that's popped over the bar. Well taken score from Richie Lombard.
Just wasn't sure there. I said Chris, I'm not sure this is with the long range shots whether he's going for the score or not, because if they're not on, they're landing short. But the Valley Rovers full forward line is not the biggest, and maybe a more direct ball in if the score isn't on might be better for them. And speaking of direct ball into the full forward line here, Ger Collins left a great ball out to number 12 Richie Lombard, who got a good score.
Dara Looney's puck out was well judged again. It was beautifully killed on the stick by Jack Walsh, and they've worked their way forward from there. Donnchadh O'Donovan in with the tackle though over on the far side on Owen O'Reilly. It's Valley Rovers ball. Important few minutes into half time now. The gap, as we look over at the scoreboard over in the far left corner, is 4 points in favour of Ballinhassig. Valley Rovers hoping to chip away at that before the whistle comes. Cleverly taken back to Mark O'Leary. Left and wide though.
That was a chance. Yeah, he had a free possession from the sideline puck, and he was looking at it fairly closely, but umpire unfortunately waved wide.
And Patrick Collins directing things here as to who he wants where, and then puts everything he's got behind it. Launches it right down the middle. Ball broken down by David Lynch. Here's a chance, and that one is good.
Excellent score from Michael Collins, who got the breaking ball. I think again it may be hard to see on camera, but a lot of the puckouts are being directed away from Chris O'Leary. He's not. Patrick is trying to manoeuvre around the place that Chris doesn't. Is not under the puck out.
Oh, that's a pull over his head.
There was a pull here, yeah.
Well, he's claiming maybe he didn't see his man there, but there was certainly contact with the man. And Donegal Donovan is down injured. Referee taking no nonsense from anyone who wants to have a word about it. And it's a yellow card, and the attention now required for Donegal Donovan.
Yeah, I just see the ball going over Donegal's head, and Jack Walsh just pulled. I don't think there was any huge any malice. Or number 9 was Joe Lynch, who's gone in centre forward, just pulled. But I don't think there's any huge malice in the pull. Unfortunately, just caught Donegal Donovan, broke his hurley in the act of doing it, and I think yellow is a fair call.
You mentioned a few moments ago from Valley Rovers' point of view that long ball into the forward line, into the full forward line, isn't really working out. We've seen them put a few lovely scores together when they've changed the angle, the point of attack, when they've gone left to right or right to left.
I think that's better. I think it's just Chris is not kind of he's you're looking at maybe 80 metres plus out, and he's with any bit of wind, the wind is going across the pitch. Maybe he thinks the score is on, but if you don't catch him clean, he does. They go a bit short. It's of no real advantage to your team. So maybe have a look at to see if the odd ball into the full forward line, because they look quite quick, quite fast inside there. And maybe that ball might be better for them.
It's definitely got the distance, but left and wide from Patrick Collins. We've had a few wides in this first half now. That wasn't an easy opportunity, you'd have to say that. Darragh Looney's puck out again. He was looking for Jack Walsh, who Valley Rovers will want to get on a little bit more than he has done in this first half. John Cottrell beaten down to Colin Butler, who's managed to turn away from pressure, finds Adam Keneally, and that's better from Valley Rovers.
Yeah, it's good ball. Colin Butler just on the breaking ball from the broken down by the Ballinhassig full back line, and a good pass out to good pass to Adam Keneally, and just before half time that's a good score for Valley Rovers. That'll give a bit of a lift.
So half time here in Riverstick, good competitive local derbies we would have expected. The half time scoreline: Valley Rovers 7 points, Ballinhassig 1-8. And a job in their hands now for Valley Rovers, just to whittle that down in the second half. They will. It looks like they'll have this little bit of a breeze. If it is there today, it will be behind them in the second half. So certainly all is not lost, and a 4-point deficit in a game like this is certainly not insurmountable.
No, I think Ballinhassig will be reasonably happy. I think they probably were the better side in the first half. I think they have a kind of maybe a better bit of structure to what they're trying to do. But again, the couple of missed frees, if they got them, they'd be 6 points. And I think that 4 to 5, 6 points is probably a fair reflection in the first half. I think Ballinhassig were the better side. I think Valley Rovers are relying a lot on Chris for the frees or their scores from frees. I think they'll have to, maybe in the second half, you say they have the wind advantage, but maybe just to have a look at the style, maybe more ball into the full forward line a bit earlier and a bit quicker, and give them a chance. Whereas in the second half, I think even playing against that wind, I think the game that Ballinhassig type played, fast ball in from outside, they won't be unhappy. The fact of sometimes playing against the wind creates a bit more space inside there, and all to play for in the second half. Nothing between the two teams. And
just a word on the goal, which is the big score of that first half. Fintan O'Leary, you flagged him up ahead of the game as well. A good piece of poaching, saw his chance and took it.
That was it. The ball broke. It was kind of one of those ones that lands inside the square right just by the goalpost. So it was an awkward ball, and Darragh Looney just went to pick it. I think, and in fairness to Fintan, saw the opportunity, went in and just got the hurley to flick it over the line, like a real poacher's goal. Like a real experienced guy who's been around the place knows that it just the chance might come, and just be prepared for it.
Who's caught the eye for you then overall in this first half, John?
Yeah, I think Ballinhassig's defence. I think they've been in the game from a point of view of dominating the play, but he's having to cover an awful lot of ground because Michael Collins is playing off him quite a bit. I think Donegal Donovan has been solid centre back. Obviously, a lot of the play comes from him, that they work it through him. Two midfielders are probably on top. Shane McCarthy and Simon O'Neill are probably on top of their markers, even though Nola Dunham is working really, really hard. And again, Michael Collins has been effective. He's been mobile. He's been moving around. Got a great score. And I think inside, Ger Collins and Fintan have been dangerous. and I think that they'll be looking to get some early ball in the second half. For Valleys, Chris has and remarkably he's done quite well at wing back. Chris is obviously the guy they'll be looking for. He's their go-to player. The scores that they get even from frees, he's the guy that's going to lift that team. Again, maybe they struggle with the quality of ball going in the first half into their forward line, but a good score there for Madam Keneally. Maybe if you get some more possession, you might do some more damage.
Just had a shot there a minute ago of Darragh Looney, the Valley Rovers goalkeeper. He's getting some attention down there to our right hand side. Just see his left hand is getting strapped up and bandaged up, which obviously isn't ideal for a goalkeeper. Took a knock in that first half. We saw he was requiring treatment.
Yeah, just as you say, he's on in front of us. It looks. Is it a cut of some sort of rather than a dislocation of anything? They seem to be trying to put a plaster on it. I don't see Willie Burke name in the bench for Valley Rovers. You were saying he was retired, so maybe. I'm not sure who the sub goalkeeper is if they have to make a change, but I think they'll be looking for Darragh to get back in there.
If we can broaden out the Premier Intermediate grade while we have this chance at half time, just run through the groups. Ada, Carrigaline, Courcey Rovers and Youghal. We know that Courcey Rovers were beaten by Carrigaline last night. In this group we've Ballinhassig Valley Rovers, also Watergrass Hill and Ballincollig who are playing today. Blackrock in the third group, that'd be the Blackrock second team who won the intermediate level last year, which was a big boost for the club last year. Blarney, who got to the semi-finals, big win last night against Inniscarra, who were also in that group, also semi-finalists last year. And Castlelyons with the Spillans and others there as well. They're always an interesting one to look at, Castlelyons. How do you think they might go?
Very interesting one. Again, I think all these teams will be looking to get a good start and get momentum. The first two games have come around very quickly, and if you can get a win or even two wins in your first games, it really sets you up for the break. And when you come back in for the last game, you'll be looking at maybe trying to qualify at that stage. Some interesting groups. As I say, I was at the Blarney game, very impressive last night. Obviously, Carrigaline got a big score. Castlelyons have got some big name players, and probably they're playing Blackrock second team tonight. But they won the junior last year and they were quite impressive in doing so. They're a big strong team, again well structured. So if Castlelyons will be looking to maybe for their big players to I suppose to lead them through tonight, and they would have high ambitions of doing well in this grade. So again, there's 12 teams there. It's quite open. All these lads would feel that if they get a run and get a bit of momentum, they have a chance. I think, and whoever wins here today, I think will be in a great position to come out on top of their group.
And there's a great carrot, as we said at the outset, being dangled, that if you can come out of this tough division, and there are certainly some teams who will be more prominent maybe than it in others, that you're going up Senior A hurling, and just the prestige of that alone, to be up playing senior hurling. And we've seen, as we said, the likes of Father O'Neill's who won it last year, and that contingent not available to Imakilly now, for example, this year. Though I know, I was speaking to Mark Landers last night, they have some players coming back in who will be available to them this year. We've seen Kanturk and Charleville, the North Cork sides, both going really well. Charleville in particular again look very strong this year.
One to go week on week, and change codes midstream, like for the lads from Valley Rovers, and have to turn around they've hurled for 2 weeks, and then they've a football week, and then they get a bit of a break. But I just think it's hard going, and I think dual clubs at that level, any dual club who are playing at a really high level, it'll really challenge them to have success. So it's a big challenge, as you say, for I suppose for Valley Rovers, who played last Sunday. Tough game against Nemo in football, and to come out again a week later, in a local derby and try to keep it going. So be interesting to see how they go in the last quarter of an hour.
Right, so the team's splitting up again. Referee calling them back in for this second half. Huge half an hour's hurling ahead now for these local rivals, Ballinhassig and Valley Rovers. Valley Rovers looking to overturn a 4-point first half deficit, and Ballinhassig hoping to buck the recent trend against the men from 15 minutes down the road, 15 minutes away from them, and they've got themselves in a good position here at half time. Can they see it through now though, and get this group off to a flyer for them? It's all about momentum in these 4 team groups, and if you can get the win to start with, you start putting yourself in a great position. If you fall behind, if you lose the game, you catch up to play. But all will not be decided today, but certainly a victory would go a long way towards your ambitions of getting out of the group. Jack Walsh has gone into centre field for the throw in here alongside Noel O'Donovan, and Joe Lynch, wearing 9, has gone into the centre half forward position.
I think they made a switch just before half time there as well, so they're kind of lining out the way they finished in the first half. So the first 10 minutes here, I think, very interesting to kind of to see how the game will go from here. Des, I think both teams will be looking to get a good start, to get a couple of scores. Ballinhassig looking to move on from 4 ahead, but I think Valleys need to get a couple of scores to get back in the game.
And here they come, looking to mount their first attack of Noel O'Donovan. Good angle ball over towards this near side. Out first and in front and picking it up is Owen O'Reilly. Urged to go at his man in the first half. He's certainly going at him here. Michael Desmond trying to get back and put the pressure on, which he has managed to do. All the experience in the world, Michael Desmond tracked his man beaten initially, but got back there, put the pressure on. Yeah,
you can hear the crowd on the sideline here, shouting for Owen O'Reilly to take him on. So obviously they feel he maybe has the beating from the pace point of view. But Michael Desmond is an experienced cornerback, and he pushed him out to the sideline and made the angle difficult for him to score.
Huge one downfield from Patrick Collins. That will take some looking after from a Valley Rovers point of view, and they've managed to secure possession. And the pressure is there on Tomas O'Brien. Gets it away to William Hurley off his strong left hand side, down to Colin Butler. They've transferred this ball well. This would be an excellent score if it goes over, and it has gone over. Brilliantly taken.
Sean Cottrell again, this time off with his right hand. Took the tackle from Conor Desmond over, turned into his right hand, and turned away straight away. He knew it was gone over the bar. So that's two really good scores, one from his left and one from his right.
And it's a 1-goal game now in Riverstick, and the crowd that is here today, those who did manage to secure those precious tickets, are making themselves heard. But there's a lack of marking here from Mark O'Leary, and it gives the opportunity to Richie Lombard. Should be taking this, but he's not managed to do so.
That's a poor wide now, because he was on his own and he had all the time in the world, but he kind of, his shot didn't have much conviction in it, and it went wide on the near side.
Both sides guilty of a few wide that maybe should have been a lot more accurate with. Here is William Hurley, surrounded by 3 blue jerseys, pops the hand pass back to Noel O'Donovan. And O'Donovan again looks to change the point of attack, angle ball over towards the corner. Owen O'Reilly couldn't take it up. Adam Keneally there as well. A chance to steady himself, Owen O'Reilly. Eyes up the target, and he doesn't miss this time.
Yeah, good score from Owen O'Reilly there. He stayed out of the ruck, and was looking for the loose ball. The ball broke from the ruck out to him, and this time off his right hand, when he had a bit of time and a bit of space and nobody on top of him, got a lovely score.
2.5 minutes into the second half, Valley Rovers finding a nice little bit of momentum. Puck out fizzed to the safe hands of Donnacha O'Donovan, and O'Donovan goes again. Couldn't break through the 2 Valley Rovers players. Sticks flying, referee letting it all go. Here's a chance for man nearing 21, who came on at half time, and he's made an instant impact. That's Cormac Desmond.
Very good score from Cormac Desmond, who's come in at half time in full forward, and what happened, in fairness to Valley Rovers, they're half forward and turned over the ball from the short puck out from Donnacha O'Donovan, and they've turned it over, and they've started the second half really well.
And Cormac Desmond, who was the goalkeeper in the Senior Football Championship game against Nemo Rangers last week, and I think Valley Rovers with Ballinhassig man down, and it's Brendan Lombard, who's been serving this team for many a year. 2 intermediate titles, a junior county medal as well. I think there were a fair few candles on his last birthday cake without saying any more about that, but I think the Valley Rovers crowd below us were thinking there might be an element of something tactical in this. It doesn't look like that's the case. It does look like he is in difficulty, but Valley Rovers certainly with the momentum at the moment.
Yeah, you'd wonder anytime you see that happening, with Valley Rovers getting a couple of early scores and you see the opposition, one of the players go down, certainly you'll be roaring to see what is he really injured. But I think he's a genuine enough player that he wouldn't go down unless there was a serious injury. But he's looked to be recovering, and he'll be back on his feet. He's okay.
And the doctor who had made his way all the way on is going to have to make his way all the way off again. Will that just serve to settle Ballinhassig now? Have yet to really get going in the second half. Valley Rovers swarming all over it again. Colin Butler whips it inside. Here's another chance. And it's a chance that's gone right and wide. Well, he nearly had 2 in as many minutes, Cormac Desmond, after coming in at half time.
Yeah, the initiative has slightly gone to Valley Rovers now since half time. They've turned it around and they've got on top and all over the pitch. So a bit of excitement here with the crowd, looking for something to happen. But that was a disappointing miss from Cormac. He had a great chance.
And a poor puck.
His puck got intercepted.
Valley Rovers are starting to read these now. Yeah. And Adam Keneally takes full advantage. It's not often Patrick Collins would misplace one, but whether it was that Adam Keneally made his move late and spotted it and read it. Very well taken score.
Adam's come out here now wing forward as well. He's come out in the switch with that brought Cormac Desmond in at 21. He's gone out to wing forward, and that's the downside with puck outs like that. When they go straight, they can be intercepted and score off them.
Contested, taken by Fintan O'Leary, who did so well initially, and a massive bodies to claim that one. Just took a few steps too many though. And the atmosphere really starting to heat up now. Chris O'Leary, the shout from down below us is over the bar. That one doesn't look like it will carry. It might still be a dangerous ball though. Valley Rovers have kept it alive. Challenge was a vigorous one from Brendan Lombard. And that is going right and wide. Well, they have the momentum. Just a couple of wides that might have been scores, costly.
That was a big chance there now for Owen O'Reilly to take to. I think that would have been a score to put him ahead, and that they haven't looked like that for most of the game, so they've been a big point for them if they got it.
They got the first score of the game, Valley Rovers. They've kind of been chasing Ballinhassig since then, but they're back on level terms now after a strong start to this second half, and in towards Desmond again, and he's got his hands on it, looking to find the back of the net. Oh, Patrick Collins, great reactions.
Certainly Cormac Desmond has come in, and he's been a handful since he's come on, and he caught a great ball here. He went through. It looked like that he was going to be hauled down for a penalty. He dropped the ball and hit the ball on the ground, and a good reaction save from Patrick Collins there, put it on for a 65. Still gives Chris O'Leary a chance to put him ahead.
And Chris Reynolds is injured, the Ballinhassig fullback. It looks like he's got a job in his hands in this second half with the arrival and the positioning of Cormac Desmond in at full forward.
The other switch as well, the fact of Adam Keneally, who's a young lad, has come moving forward, and Brendan Lombard. Obviously they're targeting maybe Brendan's mobility at this stage of his career. So Adam, being a young man, might have some fresher legs on him. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think there might be a moment to correction, about 21 years between the two of them. Now from a more advantageous range, Chris O'Leary steps up again. Arrows it in. It's another one that's come off the upright. It's back with Desmond though. Gets his hand pass away, and Colin Butler pops that one over very neatly.
And again, the ball brought to Desmond again. He was involved in the play since he's come on. That's another score that he's been involved in.
And this is a mightily impressive turnaround, isn't it, from Valley Rovers, who were just struggling to find their rhythm as that first half was going on, but they've come flying out of the blocks here at the start of the second half, and it's now Valley Rovers 12 points, Ballinhassig 1-8.
Sub for Ballinhassig here. Brendan Lombard has maybe that belt that he got, that he was down there a few minutes ago. He's been replaced by James O'Callaghan in at left half back.
Mark O'Leary coming to meet it, to apply the pressure on Richie Lombard. And Valley Rovers bring it forward, going to hand pass their way out, popped on by Noel O'Donovan, and now down into the corner where Owen O'Reilly is off and running again. Little step off his left, step off his right from Owen O'Reilly, needs support, has it inside now. Lovely little pirouette away from pressure from Jack Walsh, and it's opened up here for Jack Walsh, but off his left hand side.
They're free to hand up for a
he will bring it back though. We're just starting to see Owen O'Reilly and Colin Butler, the two corner forwards, come a little more into it now for Valley Rovers as well.
Yeah, they're certainly playing much more wider. Like the tactic in the first half of playing long high balls and really wasn't working for them. Certainly Butler and O'Reilly have certainly got pace on their side, and they're using the wide open space of the pitch here today. And there's a yellow card there for James O'Callaghan, who was just in a bit of a rash challenge, so there's a chance for him to go 2 ahead.
And Butler strikes it cleanly. And Valley Rovers continuing the ascendancy here, and Ballinhassig have to find a way to wrest control of this game back again. It's in danger of getting away from them from a very advantageous position at half time.
Yeah, to go from 4, ahead to go behind now at this stage, that's been a great turnaround from Valley Rovers. So I think Ballinhassig's players, Michael Collins, has gone out of the game quite a bit. Des as well, he's not as influential as he was in the first half.
Nice ball in by Conor Desmond, that one, to find Charlie Granger. Space at a premium over on that far side, works it back to Fintan O'Leary, their goal scorer in the first half. Turns away onto his right hand side, almost turned into a good pass inside.
Very good defending there as well by the full back, who got the hurley in for the hook as Fintan was just about to strike it. And sometimes those things look as if the forward looked, a poor wide, but some great defending.
And that lands in centre field. Striding away with it is Shane McCarthy. Gets his hand pass back to Donegal O'Donovan, and O'Donovan launches one in towards Fintan O'Leary, who gets the head down and the legs pumping, but it will carry through to Dara Looney. The first test of that injured left hand, gathered securely, and gathered really well down the other end by Conor Desmond. Sends it back in again. First out to meet it was Tommaso O'Brien, didn't make contact, ran safely through to his goalkeeper, and now Looney can look for the pass out towards the half forward line. Couldn't quite get on it though, Joe Lynch. O'Donovan, nice ball popped into midfield. And here's an opportunity for the long striding Simon O'Neill, and on he goes. And fancies it. Oh, that's a fantastic score. Had options left and right, but off the hurl, popped it up, struck it beautifully. And that's a real score that Ballinhassig needed.
They needed that score. There's a great ball up from Donegal O'Donovan, found Simon O'Neill, and he took on his man, took out Nolan O'Donovan, stretched through, and off his left hand without having to catch the ball and played it off the hurley. It was a great score. Badly needed one for Ballinhassig.
Donegal O'Donovan trusting the touch of his midfielder there. A heavy collision as William Hurley came to meet it. Hurley made it his. Good reverse hand pass. He just lost his balance though. John Cottrell. Ballinhassig back in possession. Hand pass worked out by Michael Desmond, who finds himself well out the field. And here's Michael Collins. Certainly got the distance. That's a superb score from Michael Collins. You said he might have gone a little bit quiet in the second half. Maybe that will get him and Ballinhassig going again.
Great bit of control, great dummy. He dummies, he was going to strike the ball, brought it back in, and off his right hand put it over the bar. So as you say, he'd gone quiet in the game, but he's a big player for Ballinhassig, and that score now might lift him, because he's playing off Chris.
Coverage today in association with Dairy Gold. Great to have them on board this year. James O'Callaghan, he's slow to get back to his feet here, needs a little bit of attention. But an important couple of scores there in the last few minutes for Ballinhassig.
And 2 great scores, Des, like 2 really quality scores from both Simon O'Neill and Michael Collins, and that'll lift them, because the momentum had swung to Valley Rovers, and just before the water break now, the second half, opportunity here for Patrick Collins maybe to put this one over.
12.5 minutes gone, second half. Drawn game as it stands. Patrick Collins, Fintan O'Leary has got his eye on that. Dara Looney juggled with it. Oh, he's done well in the end, the goalkeeper. He's taken another knock though.
He's done well. I thought for a second there was a bit of confusion between Dara and Chris as who was going to play the ball. I think thought Chris might be playing it, and Chris left it to the goalkeeper, but he's done well.
He's been in the wars today, Dara Looney. First competitive game in goal, I understand.
Yeah, he's
what a one to start
with. What a one to start with, yeah, with a local derby. But to be in the genes there, his dad Don would have played a lot of hurling with Valley Rovers and be one of the stalwarts down there.
And Don captain for the 88 and 89 junior and intermediate county wins. As Chris O'Leary launches one downfield, breaking ball favours Ballinhassig though. Donegal O'Donovan is doing a good job again in that half back line, as Ballinhassig are getting some measure of control back in the second half. After Valley Rovers came storming out of the gate once the ball was thrown in. Chris O'Leary's on the deck, Ballinhassig playing on. O'Leary's injured. A good turn back, but he turned back into pressure. The chance might still be there though. Here's Richie Lombard trying to link up with Fintan O'Leary. David Lynch goes with O'Leary. Tomas O'Brien there as well. Here's an opportunity, Shane McCarthy, but the pressure is there from Valley Rovers and off they go. And a chance to mount an attack here in towards Cormac Desmond. And Valley Rovers feeling he's being held. And what an impact he's made since coming on at half time.
You certainly feel at this stage as if they get enough ball into Cormac Desmond, he seems to have the beating of the Ballinhassig fullback Chris Reynolds at this stage. So if they get enough ball in there, he's certainly causing damage. But you must compliment the Valley Rovers half back in midfield here. Their work rate to turn over the ball that they had here, that Fintan had and turned over, they're working really hard. And you know, it's a real competitive contest. Like, you know, in fairness to the referee, we were asking him to let the game go, and he's done that. And there's been, you know, the contests and the collisions have been great.
Valley Rovers with what looks a straightforward opportunity to nudge themselves back in front again. And the opportunity taken by Cullen Butler, 1 point game. Now we start thinking about all those dual players on the Valley Rovers side, if they can see it through now.
I'm not sure, there's a bit of confusion whether it's when he's going for a water break or not. No, he's blowing it.
It was Chris O'Leary just receiving a bit of attention. There's one to contest as the plane flies by in the background. Angle ball. And that's a late one by Mark O'Leary. A bit of a needless one maybe as well. They had 2 against 1 there. And support from Tomas O'Brien.
Yeah, it was a very good ball across from, was it Kevin Maguire, who has come on as a sub there, corner forward. Great ball across to Ger Collins, and as I say, it was a needless foul. Like, he was going away from goal, you know, better off to shadow him and put him towards the sideline here, but now he's given him a free chance to level the scores again.
Adam Keneally, meanwhile, we can tell you, he's been called ashore, the Valley Rovers full forward.
Cormac Kilduff has come on at number 20 and at right half forward for him.
Nephew of the manager, Aidan Crowley. With this being as tight as it is, and you mentioned the free takers earlier, Chris O'Leary on one side, Ger Collins on the other. Discipline will be very important now in the closing minutes. Absolutely.
You know, make them earn their scores. Like, you know, try not to concede. Give them a free puck at goal if you can.
Looking down away to my right hand side, I see Dave Bennett down there. I remember him from his UCC days. What a talented stickman he was.
Yeah, they seem to have inter-county involvement. Dr. James Ryan is also from the, who's the Limerick doctor, who lives in Shannon, so he's with them as well. So there's plenty of inter-county experience on the line anyway.
Chris O'Leary, 2 players converging on him, and that one just gone to left and wide. One of the big talking points around the senior championship, of course, Ger, was the arrival of Ben O'Connor out in Middleton, and we saw Middleton, you saw them at close quarters on Friday night as the hurling, the Premier Senior hurling got underway, and certainly that running game is there. Yeah,
it's a bit of a change of structure from Middleton's point of view that you know, they've been involved, so it'll take time. You know, people are looking for instant results really, like, but it's going to take time, you know what I mean. He's only had them a couple of months, and then with the lockdown, you know, the whole momentum would have stopped and would have shifted. Certainly strange to see him with a black and white top on the line on the other night, but there was little snippets at different times of the style of play that he's going to bring to them. You know, they're hard working. You know, it's a much more support player rather than, I suppose, typical in the past. Middleton would have been a more direct team, and but I think, you know, give him time, I think he'll certainly have an impact there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to remember the Newtown Shandrum days, the late 90s, the early 2000s. Ben and Jerry taking short frees to each other and hand passing their way up the pitch and everything. It was almost revolutionary at the time. It was revolutionary at the time. I remember seeing him playing under 16 in a county final against my own club in the Bars there, when they were running 16 years of age, and you know, the impact even then at 16 what they had. You know, they were absolutely brilliant. They were 2 actually brilliant players, and I've no doubt Ben, given a chance and given time with Middleton, will have a huge impact on where they go going forward. They've the base of a lot of young talent coming through. They've been involved with minor finals and 21 finals over the years, so they have some very, very good players. So I think given a chance last Friday night wouldn't have been
probably been a setback for them, because I know they probably went down there with a lot of high expectations that their form in the last 3 or 4 weeks at different matches they would have played in practice matches was quite good. But that was a big victory for SARS. So as I say, it's great to see him involved. He was a tremendous player. He was a really, really great player, and his impact will be seen in the future with Middleton.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see exactly how that senior championship pans out. McKillie going for 4 in a row. They equal the Great Bars team of the early 80s with their 3 in a row last year. But there's a few contenders coming after them, isn't there?
There is, yeah. And it's got, if McKillie do it this year, they certainly will have deserved it. I think they're playing in the final of the divisional competition. I think UCC played O'Hallow in that, and the winners play McKillie. But it really depends on how many of the McKillie players are going to be involved with their clubs as they go on, and as either clubs from McKillie stay involved or as they go out of the competition. But I know it's going to be more difficult for McKillie to get together. I think in the past they normally kind of targeted train or play a practice game on a Monday night. But this is very difficult for them at the moment because all the players are training with the clubs. So it does give the likes of all the other clubs, the likes of maybe SARS or Middleton or the Glen, who were very impressive last night, they will see an opportunity to go all the way this year.
Yeah, great to see the club scene now very much front and centre at the moment before we switch to inter-county a little bit later in the year. And for a lot of the players, certainly the senior grade players, and we see the likes of Chris O'Leary playing today, Patrick Collins as well, they'll be looking to catch your eye and Kieran Kingston's eye with some good showings over the next few years.
It's always been the way in the past, that's how you get on the Cork team, you play well with your club, and the lads have been given an opportunity now to play. They're getting plenty of games over the next couple of weeks, and get their form, get their confidence, and we'd be hoping when they come back in with us in September that they'll be in a good place to drive it on for the rest of the year.
Right, in association with Dairy Gold, here we go into the final stretch of this Cork Premier Intermediate group opener for these two great local rivals, Ballinhassig and Valley Rovers, and nothing between them. Valley Rovers 14 points, Ballinhassig 111. Which side can finish stronger here and claim what would be a very big win to open this group? We've had 2 swings of momentum in the second half. Valley Rovers dominant early on, Ballinhassig coming back into it. So it's very much in the melting pot here as the ball is taken in by Jack Walsh. And Walsh gets his head up, no pressure on the pass, so he's allowed to pick out his target. That's Cormac Desmond. He's got his hands in it again. He's being wrapped up and they're baying for a penalty, and it's been given. He has caused absolute havoc since his arrival, Cormac Desmond, and here's a great opportunity now to put some daylight between the teams.
Great credit to Jack Walsh. He actually won a clean ball from a pass out from the defence, and actually took his time, looked up, and gave a precision pass into Cormac Desmond, who's now going to, as you said, the edge of the square is causing major problems, and I think Ballinhassig would need to look at maybe trying to counteract that in some shape or form, because he's had a huge impact. And
they're struggling to deal with him right now, and if the quality ball keeps coming in, maybe that's where they'll have to stop that ball coming in at all, Ballinhassig. But here's a chance now.
Interesting contest here now.
Chris O'Leary against Patrick Collins, massive moment. O'Leary goes low and Collins matches him with a fine save. They will leave with something. Sharp reactions on the rebound though from Colin Butler, so they do get a point, no goal, but they have nudged themselves back in front.
Yeah, well struck shot, but Chris was kind of a bit down the centre. Whether he thought that Patrick was going to go to one of the sides, and he hit it down the centre a bit, but good save from Patrick Collins, but a great reaction from Cormac Butler to get the point over the bar.
Yeah, important from a Valley Rovers point of view that they left with something there. This is picked up by Mark O'Leary, long striding, and off he goes. Short hand pass to Jack Walsh, trying to work it between them, and Walsh, lovely touch, gets on it again, and he's slipped over the sideline, and Ballinhassig ball to come.
Hard to know, Des, would the factor of playing football last Sunday, will it be an advantage or a disadvantage to the Valleys at this stage? Will the game be an advantage to them that they can finish it out?
Excellent from Donncha O'Donovan. He had 3 green and white jerseys around him. It gives a shooting opportunity to Conor Desmond, and Desmond has taken. O'Donovan though has certainly been a big influence in this game, wearing 6 for Ballinhassig.
Yeah, really good score. Really, O'Donovan did well to pass out to Cormac Desmond, and from the halfway line, a really good strike and split the post. Level
15
again.
points Valley Rovers, Ballinhassig 112. A game that has certainly lived up to the billing and is right there to be won. Colin Butler exerting an increasing influence on this game. Well, we hardly saw anything of him in the first half. He's picking up some very intelligent positions, winning a lot of breaking balls, stepping into space, teammates picking him out, and his eye's been in the second half.
Yeah, that's point number 6 for him, putting from playing from free, so he's done really well.
Great ball out, beautifully taken. Simon O'Neill, diagonal ball across. Fintan O'Leary's got it, and O'Leary driving on now. Referee looking to allow the advantage. He blows the whistle. Well, he couldn't quite get in to earn himself a penalty, Fintan O'Leary, but one ball out here to Simon O'Neill, a diagonal ball back across, and Ballinhassig almost in on goal.
Yeah, great catch from Fintan under pressure here. That's what you'd expect from one of your big players when you need a score. Caught a great ball. Now, probably obviously discussing now whether he was in or outside the parlour. They're gone for a penalty, and the referee has gone in. It looked a bit strange from our point of view. I thought he was outside, but he did catch it outside and went in, and the referee consulted with his umpires, and they were very close to it. So great opportunity here now.
Patrick Collins is on his way here, having saved a penalty. Could he score one?
I was just going to say which of the Collinses is going to take this, but obviously Patrick is on the way up. And a real chance here to be the hero at both ends, having made a brilliant save from Chris O'Leary's penalty, to now give him a chance to put him 2 points
away.
ahead.
We're 24.5 minutes, but that's counting the water break as well, so that'll be added. But Patrick Collins, I think he's clever enough to know that there's not too many minutes left in this game, and this is a huge moment. If he can bury this penalty, he took his time coming up to it. Now facing down his opposite number, Dara Looney, on his first competitive game in goal for Valley Rovers, could make himself a hero here.
Interesting goalie versus a goalie. Which side will he go to?
Well, this is massive as the minutes ebb away. Patrick Collins has put it wide. So 2 penalties, both missed, one at either end in the last few minutes.
That's at this level, like, you know, from the point of view of getting a penalty, to keep it, you know, not to put it on target, like, you know, it's he was going for the top corner, and probably better off maybe to keep it on target, but that could be crucial.
Great block that coming in from Michael Collins, as his brother made his way all the way back to goal, and a long run back to think about missing that penalty. But it's certainly been eventful. We expected it would be. They've had a little bit of everything.
A couple of minutes there from going, as I say, going from saving a penalty to go up at the other end to have a chance to put yourself 2 points ahead, but to come away with nothing. You know, at least Valley's, when the penalty was saved, Colin Butler turned around to put the ball over the bar to give him a score. So Valley's still ahead by a point.
Sails over the head of Mark O'Leary. Good covering across from brother Chris, and now Mark told to deliver, and that he does, and you can see the target again. Cormac Desmond, can he get his hands on another one? Not quite this time. Ballinhassig making sure they had plenty of men around him that time. It goes under the stick of Ger Collins, recovers to get on it though. Richie Lombard, strong runner. He breaks the first tackle, that of William Hurley, pops the hand pass out to his right hand side. Here's an opportunity, and over the bar from the substitute Kevin Maguire. All tied up again.
Yeah, well worked score. Ger Collins did really well to find Richie Lombard, and he passed it to Kevin Maguire, and a good score to level it up. Simon O'Neill has had a very good impact in the second half. He looks quite a rangy, fit player, and he's had a good influence in this, you know, I suppose, in Ballinhassig coming back into the game after their slow start to the second half.
Now this is an interesting one. They're putting Donnacha O'Donovan back in full back on Cormac Desmond, way down to our right hand side, and it's the end of the day for Chris Reynolds, the full back, who's being substituted. So it's a bigger figure, maybe a stronger man in there, certainly a taller man in there, to try and deal with the problems that Desmond has caused.
That's number 19 again. That's James O'Callaghan's. That's his second free he's given away, rather kind of a bit needlessly, going in with the hurley and a strike, and he's on a yellow as it is.
Just listening to Noel O'Donovan, the Valley Rovers midfielder, barking out the instructions as we wait for the free here. Mark the space, no fouls is the instruction. No problems again for Colin Butler. Valley Rovers 17 points, Ballinhassig 113. Patrick Collins booming one downfield towards Fintan O'Leary. No foul again is the mantra from the sideline for Valley Rovers. And to make sure that if Ballinhassig score, they're going to have to work for it. It goes beyond Simon O'Neill, picked up by James O'Callaghan. Gets it back onto his right hand side, but that one's going left and wide.
Interesting call, putting Donnacha O'Donovan back full back, Des, at this stage of the game. You know, a couple of minutes to go, and you're a point down, putting probably your most influential striker, your centre back full back, but it just goes to show the trouble that he has caused since he's come in at full forward. 2 men climb, neither man gets on it. Valley Rovers possession though. Low ball in by
Sean O'Regan, another who's come in off the bench. Real tangle on the ground. O'Donovan and Desmond getting to know each other after that recent change of position for Donegal O'Donovan. Once again the angle ball over towards Fintan O'Leary. He'll have to go some to keep that one in play. He's managed to do so though. Didn't look like he hurled the Valley Rovers man onto the ground, but play goes on, and here's an opportunity. Richie Lombard gets the hand pass away. Colin Reynolds back out into space and over the bar.
That's a well-worked score. Like, you know, the ball out to the wing from Conor Desmond looked to have beaten Fintan O'Leary out to the sideline, but he did really well to keep it in play. Sometimes you wonder whether a ball for him would have been better off. Maybe he hit the ball on top of him, because he's such a good ball winner when he gets it, having to run 30 or 40 yards out to the sideline. But did really well, broke the play up, and Kevin Maguire passed it to Colin Reynolds, who got a nice score. So all tied up with a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah, it could be a drawn game, of course, in this group format. Gary Farrell has come on, our player who was away for a couple of years in Australia, on for Valley Rovers for the few minutes that remain. Ballinhassig, a lovely step from Michael Collins and support on his inside, and Colin Reynolds has his eye on another score here, perhaps pops it to his left, and that's over the bar. Lovely score from Ballinhassig. Kevin Maguire's got another one. He's certainly taken his chance since being introduced.
Yeah, he's been impressive since he's come on. He was involved in the free that Ger Collins got a while ago, with a lovely crossfield ball, but now he's after getting 2 chances, and he's taken his 2 scores really well.
We've passed the 30-minute mark. And not much time left now. Valley Rovers man down right in front of the Ballinhassig substitutes over there.
It probably looked a bit worse than what it was. I think he pulled, and the ball hopped in front of him, and he pulled, and the Valley Rovers guy was coming in underneath it, trying to get the hook in and maybe cut the top of his helmet, but he's up and running, he's okay.
Well, this is it. It's a 1-point game. Ballinhassig, who led by 4, I think it was, at half time, had to recover in this second half and go again after Valley Rovers came flying out at the start of that second period. But they have a 1-point advantage here, and not much time remaining now. 31 minutes gone, second half.
Yeah, normally the referees can allow 2 minutes for the water break, so if that's the case, he's going into a situation where there's only a minute to go.
Clever thinking.
Oh, great score.
Opportunity for Richie Lombard.
Yeah.
Well, he's a big presence in this Ballinhassig team, and he's gone up with a big score for them here. It's a 2-point lead now for Ballinhassig. Can they hold out and see it through? Is there a late revival in Valley Rovers? Every ball critical now. That's picked up by Shane McCarthy. Right into the centre of the pitch, Michael Collins. And he has come storming back into a big first half, and a huge influence now in the latter stages of this second half, Michael Collins. Colin Reynolds, he's got on plenty of ball in the last few minutes as well. Valley Rovers need possession. They have possession. Looks like there might have been a case for a free there. Referee allows play to go on. Shovelled further infield, picked up by Jack Walsh, trying to get it into that dangerous full forward line. Coming out to meet it for his first involvement is Gary Farrell. The Ballinhassig have it back again. They'll be happy to keep it up this end of the field for as long as they can. Mark O'Leary, free for Valley Rovers, and Mark O'Leary wants to get on with this quickly.
I give great credit to Shane O'Neill there, or Shane McCarthy as well, who took the free to give the ball on to Richie Lombard for the score. He only hit it 25 yards, but a really, really good pass.
Desmond coming out to meet it. Donegal O'Donovan right at his back. Valley Rovers have it. Clever little ball turned inside. Here's Cormac Desmond, who's beaten the first man, and the block comes in as he was looking to get his shot away from the substitute James O'Callaghan. And that's greeted as good as a score.
Yeah. That could be the turning point of it now at this stage. Really good defending from Ballinhassig. With Patrick Collins going to come out, he's going to hit this ball, I'd say, fairly as long as he can, to put the ball down the other end of the pitch.
So it's been a great contest overall. Ballinhassig on the cusp of victory here, but one moment could change all of that. The two local rivals have served up a really good game in this Premier Intermediate opener.
The umpire, the linesman, not sure of the situation. It looked as if the Valley Rovers cornerback Thomas O'Brien batted it out over the line. So I'm going to give a hot ball, I'd say.
And the fans mightn't be too happy over on this side. Referee says, as you could probably hear yourself, look, we couldn't figure it out, we couldn't see it. So the ball is thrown in and the schmozzle begins. Coming away with it is Owen Lombard. I think we're in now or never territory.
I think Chris O'Leary just asked Matt, the referee, Mark Maher, what's left. I'm not sure what the response was. I think it's nearly up. I'd say this will be going into the square.
That's the difficulty of the water breaks. Maybe we don't know. The players don't know how long is left. Chris O'Leary.
Oh, that's a poor effort from Chris at this stage. The ball should be
You
inside
either
the
need to
square.
get the point or drop it in, don't you? Almost got too much on it. Needed to be dropped in for Cormac Desmond and the rest to fight for.
It looks like that could be it. Now the referee, I think, is calling for the ball.
And that is it. It is all over. It is Ballinhassig's day as they win this Premier Intermediate Derby opener. What a contest. A few swings of momentum. But ultimately it's Ballinhassig who've won it on a scoreline of 116 to Valley Rovers 17 points. Yeah,
very interesting context, Des, in fairness to the last great excitement, great contest. Valley Rovers looked to be had turned the game after half time, turned around and came out fighting in the second half. But just in fairness to Ballinhassig, just had that bit more composure at the end to get the scores. Kevin Maguire was a real impact, really positive impact for them. They probably could have won it by more if they got the penalty that Patrick missed and having saved one at the other end. So great contest, very enjoyable, good sporting contest, and it'll give Ballinhassig a big lift going forward.
Yeah, it's certainly one that could have gone either way. And you mentioned those mad few minutes and we had penalties at both ends. One saved by Patrick Collins and he goes down and misses one at the other end himself. Yeah,
but I think what the most important thing from the point of view is that he saved. I know they got a score, but it was a big lift that they didn't concede a goal. And he made a great save. Chris will be very disappointed with not penalties at this stage at this level. You would imagine that you'd be looking to take those scores. So it's a good contest, two very even teams. 17 scores each in the match, so there was nothing in it, and the goal was crucial. Yeah,
both managers will take positives and negatives, I guess, away from this. From a Ballinhassig point of view, there were those changes in momentum. They looked lost at the start of the second half, but that shows a lot of character in them that they managed to regroup and regather and get the win in the end.
Yeah, and if we look at it, I suppose in the midfield, I suppose they struggled at full back. Chris Reynolds was struggling with Cormac when he came on. I think Simon O'Neill had a very influential, period in the second half. Got on a lot of ball, got a great score, as did Michael Collins when they were needed. They lifted the team really well, and as I say, young Kevin Maguire coming on had an impact on 3 scores. So it's all about momentum. It's all about winning your first game, and I think Ballinhassig will definitely build on it for next week for the game next week. It's a tough blow now for Valleys.
Yeah,
it's their 3rd week in a row going out having played football last week, today, and to go again next week. That's tough for them now at this stage, and they'll be disappointed. They played really well in the second half, but just maybe we spoke about the football impact last week. They run out of steam.
From Ballinhassig's point of view, I mean, it bucks the trend. The 15 intermediate semi-final, the 18 quarter-final, both lost to Valley Rovers. We mentioned at the outset one of the lines maybe on them coming in here was players that weren't available to them last year are available to them this year. You look at the impact. You mentioned Michael Collins and others coming back. Richie Lombard was going really well there. You can see that the big presence is in the team, but having those lads back this year, getting off to a winning start here will be a massive fill-up for them as this group goes on. Yeah,
it will. I know they can, and I suppose as well they can just afford to concentrate on the hurling. They don't have the impact of having to play at a higher level of football in their club. As you say, some of the players back gives game time to Fintan O'Leary, gives game time to Michael Collins, who wouldn't have had too many games over the last couple of weeks and months. So they'll be delighted, I've no doubt. That's a great win for them. You can't beat victories, you can't beat winning, can't beat momentum, and they'll be looking out to build on that this week. There'll be a big step in when they go back in training during the week to look forward to next weekend, and now gives them a chance to qualify for the quarter-final.
Yeah, Carrigaline and Blarney, as we mentioned at the outset, with impressive wins last night. Also in this group we've got Watergrass Hill and Ballincollig, so Valley Rovers in particular you would imagine will have a keen interest in how that game goes ahead of what's coming up next.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, it's a tough ask for them now. I think that's just one of the downsides of the competition. Like, the games are coming thick and fast, trying to recover, but at least they have another week's hurling, and now next week's games becomes it's knockout. They have to win it to stay in the competition, and they'll be they played quite well in practice of the game today. Definitely Cormac Desmond coming on had a huge impact, and I think if they'll be looking at probably starting him the next day and having the impact that he did in the game today. It was there for the taking, and maybe the penalty was the turning point. Yeah,
looking down below us, they're only a few feet away from us. Valley Rovers, they're gathered in a group, and the management are having a word with them. It's a fairly sombre and a quiet scene at the moment, but it's all about the reaction now from their point of view.
It is, it'll be tough going. You got to move on fairly quickly. You don't have time to dwell, you know what I mean, and you get over it tonight. And I wouldn't be a great believer in letting it for a couple of days. When do they go back? They go back on Tuesday night, so it's all about moving quickly. the people behind the scenes can have a look at the video, have a look at it, see where they can make the changes and the improvements for next week. But your thoughts turn fairly quickly now to next weekend, and they have to beat. I'm not sure who they're playing. Is it either Ballincollig or Watergrass, whichever they're playing? It becomes a knockout game for them. But again, it's a game they'll build on. You know, it was a tight game. It could have went either way. Back again, if they got the penalty, you might be looking at they could have won the game. So a lot of positives for them, and they'll be looking at getting back on the pitch on Tuesday night and building from there. Yeah,
it's been really enjoyable. Great to be down here in Riverstick, and thanks to the club for hosting us as well. The pitch in excellent condition and served up a really good game. Ballinhassig and Valley Rovers. Jerry, you've been a busy man covering these over the last few days. The coverage in association with Jerry Gold Coop Superstores, and great to have them involved with us as well. But at the end of the day, it's all about the local bragging rights in these parts, and those are Ballinhassig's today. They've beaten Valley Rovers in this Derby opener and got themselves off to a flyer. For myself, Ger, Raf, Will and all the team here who have kept us going throughout the day, it looks like the storm clouds are coming, so we'll beat a hasty retreat, and we'll talk to you again next time around.